Thank you very much, Chair of this afternoon's proceeding, our Provost, Dr. Fazal Ali. Our Minister of Transport, the Honorable Stephen Cadiz, who I hope should be here very shortly. Mr. Curtis Manchun, Chair of the Board of Governors of the University of Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Colin Young, IMO Regional Advisor. Captain Curtin Huggins, Deputy Director, Maritime Services, Maritime Service Department, Ministry of Transport. Important stakeholders in the maritime industry, very special welcome to you. I see so many of you here this afternoon. Our academic staff, senior administrative staff, and most importantly, our students, the future of our nation, very special welcome. Other specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, a very pleasant good afternoon. On behalf of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, I want to welcome all of you here to our Maritime campus in a joint celebration of World Maritime Day. And what an appropriate venue for such an activity. I think you should reflect on that, right? Here is an institution that is in fact training the future human resource capacity of our country in the maritime industry. So it's the most appropriate venue for this sort of thing. And we at UTT very proud to be associated with this event today. World Maritime Day is celebrated every year by the international community to focus attention on the importance of shipping, maritime safety, and also to emphasize particular aspects of the International Maritime Organization's work. And this year's theme is International Maritime Organization, 60 years in the service of shipping. The University of Trinidad and Tobago is only one of 2 universities in the Caribbean Basin that offers training programs in maritime studies, the other being the University of Technology in Jamaica. And I think that every credit should be given to the founding fathers of UTT for their vision. And I hope that those of you who have not yet visited the facilities at this institution, we are having a conducted tour afterwards, and I think you should go. We have the state-of-the-art equipment, especially in the simulation room. I think we should be all proud of this. In fact, the maritime sector is now considered one of the most important growth poles of our country with respect to the repositioning of our economy away from an overdependence on oil and gas towards a more diversified and sustainable economy. And UTT is proud to be part of the training of appropriate human resource needed for this socio-economic transformation. And there are a number of growth poles, and I'd like to mention this in our medium-term strategic development plan for sustainable development. And those growth poles, among them will be, of course, the maritime industry, the creative industries, ICT, energy, and food sustainability. And for the benefit of our visitors, each one of our campus, in fact, has as its focus one of these growth poles. So this is the Maritime campus. Unlike many sectors, the importance of the maritime sector to our economy is not obvious to most of our population. And what a pity. Nor is the pursuit of a career in maritime studies appears as a viable option to many of our young people, such as medicine, law, engineering, IT, etc. And I think this is where career guidance is becoming even more critical for us here in Trinidad and Tobago, because the industries of the future are changing at a rapid pace. And as such, the skill sets which are now demanded of a modern-day workforce is also rapidly changing. And I've said at so many occasions, in fact, when I address the students here at orientation day, a generation is now 3 to 4 years. And therefore the skill sets, that's a technological generation, and therefore the skill sets which are demanded of today's modern workforce will be changing at the same rate. And therefore, as educational institutions, we have to be prepared to ensure that we properly equipped our people with the appropriate skill sets to meet this rapidly changing, industries. The maritime industry has always and will always become even more strategic to socio-economic development of Trinidad and Tobago. Could we imagine for one moment what will be the status of our petrochemical sector without an efficient, modernized set of marine services? Just think of that. Let us for a moment also take a look at our surrounding right here and ourselves, the way we are dressed this afternoon. And let us ask ourselves the simple question: where did the ceiling material came from, or the seating material, or the clothes we wear? How did it get here? And I'm sure if you reflect a minute, you'll see the majority came through the maritime industry, right? By imports. The fact is that we have evolved as a civilization and come a long way from remoteness and the move towards a high level of hyper-interconnectivity to the other parts of the globe. Shipping is what is responsible for bridging the ocean gaps and indeed contributing to making the world a global village. This demand fueled the growth of the shipping industry. And like any other industry, during this growth phase, an evaluation needs to be conducted to ensure that there is an equitable balance of the social, economic, and environmental components of the industry. When transport systems are efficient, they provide economic and social opportunities and benefits that result in a positive multiplier effect, such as better accessibility to market, employment, and additional investment. When transport systems are deficient in terms of capacity or reliability, they can have an economic cost, such as reduced or missed opportunities and lower quality of life for our people. Through UTT's maritime programs, Trinidad and Tobago has the potential to rise to the challenge of further developing of our maritime sector by facilitating the development of our maritime human resource capability. And I've said before that the role of UTT as a National University of Trinidad and Tobago is threefold. One, of course, is to produce the appropriate human resource required by our various stakeholders. And the second, through our research, development, and innovation, find solutions to problem. And the third, which I think is very critical, is through our research, development, and innovation to keep our society one step ahead of our competitors. If we don't do these three things, then, as we say, we'll always be playing catching-up game. Here at UTT, all our seafaring programs have been revised to achieve compliance with the new prescriptions of the STCW Manila Amendments. And in this respect, and I want students to recognize this, UTT's maritime programs have produced over 120 graduates varying from the diploma to the master's level program. So to date, we have produced 120 of these graduates. And of these graduates, 44 are qualified officers of the watch in navigation and engineering. And 2 of our navigation graduates have recently completed their chief mate's license in the UK and are soon to join the prestigious ranks of the Trinidad and Tobago Pilots Association. And 2 of our master's graduates have returned to join the maritime faculty to support the building of our maritime programs. And this is building capacity in our own country. In addition, we have trained over 3,000 persons in maritime short courses over the years. And I want to commend the faculty for achieving this target over that short period of time. The maritime programs. But we are not stopping there. The maritime programs at UTT will expand in due course to offer courses at the chief engineers and chief mates level in order to meet the demands of our graduates for higher professional education and certification. Remember, education is a journey, right? There's not, you get on the train, you come off, and you go back on the train and continue. It's a lifelong learning. Such levels of training have never before been offered in Trinidad and Tobago, and we hope to exceed the regional and international standards for such programs, because quality assurance and accreditation are very crucial in our programs. Plans are also currently at pace to launch a certificate program that will lead to qualifications for ratings and able-bodied seamen. This will also provide a route for these certificate graduates to feed into the diploma programs. And I think I stand on safe ground when I say that UTT will have most, or I would say all aspects of maritime training requirements covered in the coming years. In Trinidad and Tobago, our commitment to providing the education base for these seafarers is evident by the existence of our maritime campus, in which we are all seated today in celebration of World Maritime Day. These young and ambitious students that we see at the back are trained here to build the much-needed human resource capacity and capability to propel the local maritime sector forward, and will contribute greatly to the economic diversification and strengthening of our nation. With a keen insight into the concept of sustainable development, they would also be a resource for environmental protection and enable social development programs to be developed as our economy continues to develop as well. Statistics show that developing countries continue to thrive, accounting for 41% of global trade in 2012. This reflects their growing resilience to economic setbacks and increasingly leading role in driving global trade. And Trinidad and Tobago, of course, is considered to be one of these developing economies. The shifting patterns of trade are associated with the rapid industrial growth of developing countries. Trinidad and Tobago moving from an agricultural-based economy to a manufacturing-based economy, and now to an energy-based economy, tends to drive up the import intensity of production. Moreover, global trade increasingly involves value chains with different geographical locations contributing various parts to the production process. Developing countries are expanding their participation in a range of different maritime business, and they already hold strong positions in areas like ship scrapping, ship registration, and the supply of seafarers. They have a growing market share in more capital-intensive and technologically advanced maritime sectors, such as ship construction and ship owning. In fact, statistics show that 9 out of the 20 large countries in ship owning are developing countries. And this is where I think the government, the policymakers, are quite strategic when they have earmarked the maritime industry as one of the growth poles, and to be the gateway, Trinidad and Tobago being the gateway to the Americas. So the future is open to us here in TNT. And we at UTT are committed to playing our role in national development. However, a sustainable shipping industry, or I should say maritime industry, requires the coordination from all sectors. And our chairman referred to the triple helix approach to development. We at UTT, as I said, are prepared to play our part. In closing, I would like to encourage our maritime industry to be the change agents we need to bring about the appropriate changes we require to propel our industry forward to a sustainable economic development. I thank you.